What's going on, guys? It's your girl Ashley back with another video. So today I thought, since I've taken my step back from TikTok, I need to bring my parenting stuff from TikTok over to YouTube. So I found a video here on YouTube of the 10 worst parenting punishments. They said in their video that they're not trying to do like abusive punishments, but like punishments that seem fairly normal for today's day and age. So I thought it would be kind of fun for me to go through that video and give my opinions on each punishment and see what you guys think about them too. So let's get into it. Alright, so it starts from number 10 and goes all the way to 1. So let's see what number 10 is.
Not sparing the rod. Domestic corporal punishment is largely frowned upon and has actually been outlawed in many countries, but many nations have not imposed a ban. It's a punishment that is supposed to inflict pain on the child, such as spanking, sometimes known as smacking, or hitting the child with an object, such as dad's smelly size 12 slipper. In fact, looking at forums which had input from kids growing up in the mid to late 20th century, getting hit with a hand or an object wasn't out of the ordinary. People wrote that their parents would not use their hands, but use a paddle, a cane, a shoe, or perhaps worse, a belt. Okay, so for me, we've talked about this on TikTok, but since it hasn't been brought over here to YouTube, I'm going to say it again. I don't agree with spanking. I never have. I never will. And I definitely don't agree with this. A shoe or a belt or any of that stuff. Don't use things to hit your kids. Just say that you can't parent with words and walk away. You know what I'm saying? Because literally that's just what it is. You're instilling fear in your kids with physical pain because you don't know anything else to do. You don't know how to parent other than to hurt your children. Y'all know I don't agree with this, and I never will. And really, it's just sad. Especially, it's like he said, it used to be really popular, and now it's not because of the trauma that it can leave behind. And I just think it's crazy that that was ever even an option to begin with, let alone that with all the research that's been done, parents are still out here doing it. Number 10 is definitely a no-go for me, so let's just hop into number 9. Washing the mouth out with soap and water. While it's hard to believe that this was a thing, there are many recorded cases of it happening that have been discussed in studies. Usually the child will have spoken out of turn, perhaps cursed, even blasphemed, and the resultant punishment for such an infraction would be to literally wash the child's mouth out with soap and water. Believe it or not, we found a website called meanestmom.com where a woman talks about how this had proved successful in disciplining her son. In the comments section, other moms said vinegar works just as well. This was 2009, but reading such comments, one might think there was internet in 1909.
Okay, so number 9, washing their mouth out with soap and water. I know this one all too well because it happened to me growing up. This was a punishment that I got quite a few times growing up, actually, and looking back on it, didn't seem like a big deal to me because really, it wasn't an all the time thing. It was really, if you're speaking disrespectful to me, or you're not listening to me, or you're saying bad words, things like that, it was never really like swishing soap and water in the mouth, which I know some people did do. Mine was always soap just got rubbed right here on the teeth so that you could still taste it. It didn't really get all the way inside your mouth, and then you got to rinse it out right after. You didn't have to keep it in for an amount of time. Do I agree with this punishment? No. If you've seen any of my videos on TikTok, then you know that for me, cussing isn't really a big deal. And even if it was, I don't think that's the way to handle it. And also, talking disrespectfully, it's as simple as explaining to them how it's disrespectful and just communicating. Like, just don't talk to me like that, here's soap in your mouth, isn't getting the message across as much as you, hey, what you said to me was really disrespectful, and here are the reasons why, and I think we can just do better, so how about next time we try this instead of this? Redirection versus just harsh punishment in my household has worked really well. So I didn't think that that punishment caused me trauma of any kind as a child, But would I do it as a parent? No, I would not. So let's hop into number 8.
Number 8. Grounded. Now, you've all probably been grounded, but sometimes that could be more like imprisonment, and you might wish you'd have been made to swallow some soapy water. We found online that some parents have used a punishment called long-term grounding, or what sounds more like house arrest. One person on Reddit said he'd spent much of his teenage years grounded. On another blog, we found a kid who had been grounded for 8 months. There is a saying, grounded for life, but such a punishment would no doubt be very abnormal. Nonetheless, some parents believe that by keeping their kids close, they are protecting them. Most psychologists believe the opposite, and that such mollycoddling will make the child weaker and unable in later life to deal with social problems.
Okay, so grounding. Again, everything's on TikTok. I'm going to start bringing all my parenting videos that I made on TikTok over here into my, what do they call them? Shorts. So that you guys, if you aren't familiar with my TikTok or you didn't follow me from TikTok, all that information will be here for you guys to access. But I do ground my kids. Firm believer in not using long groundings. If you ground your kids for too long, they are more prone to get in more trouble because they are too bored for too long. Think about it. If you as an adult had everything taken away from you, or whatever you do as grounding, know this, know that, whatever. Say you ground your kids from their phone, okay? Me as an adult, if I had my phone taken away from me, I would be so bored that I would just be finding anything to do to not be bored. And so, as a parent myself, I do ground, and at max it's a week. Never past that, and I rarely ever go to that point. Every situation needs to be evaluated differently. If my kids get into an argument and my daughter's just not, or my son is just not understanding that you have to calm down and that just continuing arguing isn't going to get anywhere and we're not really getting to a solution, so it needs to be let go, I try to give them choices. You can choose to keep arguing or you can choose to be grounded for the day. And if they still continue to argue, then they're grounded for that day. And if they don't improve in that day, which they usually do, then, we tell them again, you can continue to act this way and be grounded for another day, or you can get ungrounded tomorrow like you were supposed to. But long groundings is going to result in even more groundings and even more unbehaved children because they're so bored that they're not gonna have anything to do. They're just gonna be looking for trouble because it's something, because they're so bored. It's like that video said, it really is like house arrest. Like, you can't do anything. Even people on house arrest are allowed to have a phone, you know what I mean? With grounding, but with limitations. There's always limitations to everything, and grounding, I think there especially needs to be limitations. So let's go into number 7.
Number 7, shooting up your stuff. As you know, parents often take your things away from you as a punishment, which is a kind of deprivation. Some parents have taken this a step further. One such person appeared in American news media in 2012 after he shot up his 15-year-old's laptop and posted the video on YouTube. He later got a visit from Child Protection Services. We might also add that even though the video went viral, some people said it was fake and the dad was just trying to get some publicity. All we can say is taking a gun to your kids' digital devices, if real, is kinda harsh.
Okay, so I don't really think I need to give much explanation on this one. What? This is it? Why is this even a thing? You shot with a gun? You shot your kids' belongings? Absolutely not. Even if you don't go to that extent, I've seen videos of parents like throwing their kids' PCs out the window or taking an Xbox and beating it with a baseball bat, or their TV with a baseball bat. Or there was one I saw where the guy put a PlayStation 4 on the ground and ran it over with his lawnmower. Absolutely not. If you really feel like your kids need time away from the item, take the item away. But you destroying something that they love is going to traumatize them and make them feel like you do not care about the things that they love. I've spoken in a lot of videos about making sure you show interest in your kids' interests, and by you destroying their special interest, it just creates this big gap between you two instead of bringing you closer together, or really even teaching them a punishment, because the only thing they learned from this whole situation is that you're nuts and you don't give a crap, you don't give a shit what they like. So yeah, we definitely don't agree with number 7. Let's roll into number 6.
The end of privacy as you know it. Looking around the web,
I
there are
hate
forums
this.
with parents asking if it's okay for them to remove their teenager's bedroom door. Some parents
that's
ask if it's even legal,
gross.
as teens might have a legal right to their privacy. One person said on a forum, "Their right to privacy does not supersede my need to make sure they're not engaging in activities that could be detrimental to their future." Others called it cruel.
Oh. Okay, so number 6 was short and sweet. No, not short and sweet. Number 6 was short and not sweet. Again, I've spoken about this in a lot of other videos. If you take your kid's door, any of that my roof, my rules, you have no privacy here bullshit, you're a terrible person. Everyone deserves privacy. Knock on your kid's door like you expect them to knock on your door. Have the same expectations for yourself that you have for your children. I don't care, they're the child, I'm the parent. It doesn't matter. Privacy is privacy. Don't take your kid's door. Okay, so for me, taking the door is removing an item that can keep you from actually having to do something as a parent. Instead of checking on your child and talking to your child and trying to make sure that they're not doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, you just remove something so you can always see it. And in real life, you're not going to always see them. You're not going to always be able to monitor what they're doing. You need to teach them. You shouldn't be talking to people that you shouldn't be talking to. You shouldn't be doing anything that you know is going to get you in trouble when the door is closed. Taking that door away from them, again, all that teaches them is that you do not care about them, their opinions, their privacy. You want it to help you with maintaining what they're doing. All you're doing is making them more sneaky because they're going to just do the same things while the door is not there. You're just teaching them that I can get away with this in their face because the door's not there. Respect your kids' privacy. I could go on and on and on about this. I could make a whole video about this specific topic. Respect people's privacy. You want privacy, so do they. I don't care if they're 10. My kid is 11 years old and he is allowed all the privacy that he wants. So we're gonna jump into number 5.
Number 5, public humiliation. In 2012, the Huffington Post published a blog post in which one writer said public humiliation of kids is a new trend, at least in the USA. She cited an instance in which parents in Illinois made their 8-year-old daughter stand outside school, wrapped in a sandwich board that read, "I like to steal from others," and lie about it. Another kid in Miami had to stand outside his school holding a sign that said, "I was sent to school to get an education, not to be a bully."
Bullying is bad, but come on.
And yet another kid in Denver had to stand on a public street holding a sign that read, "I am a thief, I took money from a family member." Since it became quite common, some people have called it barbaric and abusive.
I think by my reactions of how it played, it's pretty obvious that I don't agree with this method of punishment. Here's the thing. You think you're doing something by embarrassing them. And all you're doing is traumatizing your child. Your child is going to grow up remembering that one time versus all the good times you guys had. They're going to grow up remembering that one time that you publicly humiliated them. And they're not going to get over that. That type of trauma, they're going to have social anxiety, number 1. Depression, number 2. Anxiety in a total, number 3. They're going to be so afraid of people because of how humiliated they were in front of people they know and people they don't know. That is a disgusting form of punishment. And not only are you putting your child on blast, you're putting yourself on blast too. I don't know how to handle this situation, so I'm going to make my child publicly admit what they did as a solution. Like, that's great job. All you did was tell everyone you don't know what to do, so you just made your kid look bad. But really, you made yourself look bad too. It's dumb. It's really stupid. I've seen so many videos of that kind of thing. Them making them hold signs, like walk around the mall with those kinds of signs. It's disgusting. It's not it. We're just going to roll on to the next one.
Number 4, viral shaming. This is quite similar to public humiliation, but it goes a step further in that you won't just be shamed for a day, but people can enjoy laughing at you for many years after the actual event. Time magazine wrote about public shaming via the internet in 2015, stating parents chastise and embarrass their kids with the intent to post the video on YouTube.
Even.
Sometimes kids holding up signs similar to what we talked about were later posted online by the parents.
Okay, so I think the viral shaming is worse than the public humiliation because, number one, public humiliation can end up turning into viral humiliation because if people record what your kid is doing, now that video's up there for people to see. And then you're recording it. I hate that. Why are you recording how you punish your kids? Like, I do skits on how things work, but I don't use my actual children or actual situations to prove a point. Internet is forever. Like it's forever. Your kid could be in their 20s and that video is still circulating and they're not going to be able to get a job because they saw this. People are going to judge them. That's going to leave a stain on them that's never going to go away, ever. And if you're totally willing to do that to your kid, you shouldn't be a parent. Period. If you don't want your business out on the internet, you don't want your kid recording you parenting them, then do not record yourself parenting them. That kind of humiliation is never going to go away. To know that no matter what you do, because once the video's out, you can take it down, but I guarantee 12 people saved it. To have that on your chest, that no matter what you do, that video is always going to be there to haunt you. The long-term effects of that, oh my God. I could make a whole video on this too. Really, that's disgusting. And we don't agree with that here. Not at all. Let's go to the next one.
Number 3, hacking your child. In 2010, a news report emerged in which a 16-year-old boy was suing his mom for hacking his email and social media accounts and then saying things that upset her. The mother said this was just punishment because his son had said some things on social media that she didn't like.
This goes hand in hand with privacy. Stay out your kids' phones. If you're hacking your kids' phones, getting into their accounts without their permission, reading through all their messages, just stop. I understand wanting to make sure that your kids are being safe on social medias and being safe on their cell phones, but that's not the way to do it. Educate your children on internet safety and on cell phone safety, social media safety. You need to teach them those things and remind them. For example, my children have Xboxes. My son, who is 11, is allowed to have a mic, but his account is set so that he cannot speak to anyone who has an adult Xbox account. Only children Xbox accounts. Will that still save him from predators? No, because predators will probably still make kids Xbox accounts. But I have me and my husband have taught him about internet safety. Don't give out your full name. Don't give out your address. Don't give out what state you even live in. But don't give them any information that they can use, period. You don't know these people as much as you think that they're your friends and you think you know them on the internet. They could be someone that you have no idea who they are. And they're pretending to be little Timmy, who's 11, but he's actually Johnny, who's 47. You know what I'm saying? So you have to teach them this stuff and remind them regularly. I'll come in and I'll see my son talking to people and I'll be like, hey, how old is your friend? And he'll be like, oh, he's 12. Or because my son has a limit. He can't talk to anyone over the age of 13 because he's 11. My 11-year-old doesn't need to be talking to a 17-year-old. You get what I'm saying? And so, I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. We're not giving out any names, right? Oh, no, Mom, no. They call me by my gamer tag. And I'm like, oh, okay. They don't know where you live, right? No, they don't. No, I didn't tell them anything. Little reminders like that can really change the way your kid's thought process works when they're older on social media. Should I give this person my information? I don't know who they are. I was always taught not to give out my information. You have to teach these things. You can't just expect it. And you can't expect them to always remember it either. That's why little reminders are really important. I could make a whole video about that too, but let's go into the next one. I think we're on number 2.
Number 2, tying your kids up. Some parents have been so lost regarding how to keep their kids out of trouble that they have resorted to not allowing the children to go anywhere. As we said at the start, we don't want to focus too much on the criminal and abusive aspects of punishment, but these stories made the news of late as over-the-top kinds of punishments. One was a kid in China who was seen with a steel chain around his neck in his bedroom. The Chinese dad told the press in 2014 that his son just kept stealing from neighbors, and because it was a small community, the son would get caught.
Do I even have to say anything about this one? Who's tying your children up? That is abuse. 100% abuse. I don't care. That is abuse. I don't have to say anything else. Don't tie your kids up. Don't do it. You wouldn't do it to a dog even. Why would you do it to a child? It's abuse. In every sense of the word. That's it. That's all I have to say. Let's go to number 1. God, if that was number 2, what is number 1?
Taking the poop to school. In 2002, the LA Times wrote that 2 parents were facing charges for abusing their child, a young teen that had been an example of very tough love.
Are you
One day,
serious?
his parents had forced him to take dog feces to school with him in his school bag because he had failed to clean up the yard. The mother was charged with misdemeanor child abuse, and the father was acquitted.
Okay. I don't have words for that. If you're doing anything like that, I don't have words for that. It should be very clear that that's no. That's it. Just no. Absolutely not. That's disgusting. Why the fuck would you do that? Who did this? I feel like I need to do another one of these because some of these are wild. Some of these are wild. I just want to like get up and leave the room because what the fuck? You made your kid bring dog shit to school. What does that do? Listen, I'm done. That was the video, y'all. If you guys want to see another video like this where I go through punishments, or even I could just watch viral videos and see how parents handle situations and give my opinion, I'd be glad to keep doing these videos. Like I said, I'm trying to bring my parenting videos from TikTok over to the YouTube platform, so they need to be a different kind of video. I can't post the same things that I was posting over there over here, but I am bringing the TikTok videos that I did make and putting them into shorts. So be on the lookout for those. If you have not seen them already, they'll be here. I appreciate it, you guys watching this video. And again, if you want to see more videos like this, comment down below and let me know. Be sure you like and subscribe. Every like means so much to me, and your subscribing means the world to me too. I'm trying to move 80,000 people from my TikTok to my YouTube channel. So every subscription means the world to me. I love you guys so freaking much, and I will see you in the next video.